Okay guys, this is the last section of chapter 10 that we are going to cover, and this is chapter 10.4, and we're going to talk about Pythagorean's theorem. These are the concepts, the key concepts that we're going to talk about for this lesson, so please get these copied into your notes, and when you are complete, play me and we'll go over them. Okay, so the first word we're going to talk about is hypotenuse. And this is the longest side of a right triangle, and it's located directly across from the right angle. So looking at this triangle here at the bottom, the hypotenuse is always going to be the longest side, and it is directly across from the right angle. So your right angle's right here, directly across. Okay, and the legs are the other two sides of the triangle. This one's a leg, and this is a leg. And always, the letters used to represent triangles, especially right triangles, are A, B, and C. And C is always usually represented by the hypotenuse. Okay, and so we've got the Pythagorean's theorem. Pythagorean's theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is unfortunately one of those ones you got to memorize. So this is leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Leg, leg, hypotenuse. Okay, then we've got the converse of the Pythagorean's theorem. And this says if A and B are the measures of the shorter sides of a triangle and C is the longest side, or the hypotenuse, then A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, that's Pythagorean's theorem. But if a triangle is not a right triangle, that means if A squared plus B squared does not equal C squared, then the triangle is not a right triangle. Okay, and a right triangle is a triangle that has a right angle somewhere in it. Okay, so those are our key concepts. All right, for this example, it says find the length of a hypotenuse of a right triangle if A equals 8 and B equals 15. In our practice, I'm not going to give you a triangle. You'll have to draw one. So just for ease of the lesson, I just went ahead and put our triangles in. So you might want to draw a triangle on your paper and plug it in. So we've got if A equals 8 and B equals 15, what is the hypotenuse? And remember the hypotenuse is C. And the hypotenuse is the longest side directly across from the right angle. Okay, so our Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And I just plug in 8 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. And then we solve. 64 plus 225 equals C squared. 289 equals C squared. And I want to solve for C, so I take the square root, those cancel. And the square root of 289 is 17. So this C equals 17. Okay, now I want you to try this example. I've got an A and a B, and you're looking for C or the hypotenuse. So try this one and replay me when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so we plug in 7 squared plus 13 squared equals C squared. We get 218 equals C squared. We square root both of those. And we get square root of 218 equals C, or approximately 14.76. Now, I want you to give me your radical answer and an answer in decimal form. Okay, so I want you to give me this in simplest form. This is actually in simplest form. And I also want you to give it to me in a decimal. So just plug that into your calculator to get your decimal. Okay, now this example is finding the length of a missing side. If necessary, round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I look at this triangle. This is where the triangle is going to be given to you. And it says to find the missing side. All right, so here we are given the variable A. So A, 10, and 25. So we plug into our Pythagorean theorem. And we don't know A. We do know B as being 10. And we know our C is the hypotenuse, which is directly across from the right angle, as 25 squared. And we get A squared plus 100 equals 625 minus 100. A squared equals 525. We square root. Those cancel. A equals, when you simplify it, it becomes 5 on 21. And how you do square root of 525 is you do your little factor tree. And once you get that, you circle your pairs and bring them out. Or approximately 22.91. Okay, to make sure that you're giving me both answers. Okay, this is your turn. I want you to try this one as best as you can and replay me when you're ready for the answer. So we plug in 6 squared plus b squared equals 14 squared. 36 plus b squared equals 196. Subtract 36. B squared equals 160. Square root, those cancel. B equals the 4 square root 10, or approximately 12.65. And finally, we're determining if this is a right triangle or not. And how we did that was we took the longest side as our hypotenuse. So our 29, let's see, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Our 29 is our hypotenuse because we know the hypotenuse is the longest side of a triangle. So we plug that biggest number in for c. These other two numbers, it doesn't really matter which one's a or which one's b. But you just plug them in for the legs. So 20 squared is 400. 21 squared is 441. And 29 squared is 841. And 841 equals 841. Now, when they equal like this, remember that converse of the Pythagorean theorem? If they equal, then yes, this is a right triangle. Okay, here's a your turn example. I want you to try this one and replay me when you're ready for the answer. So this is 8 squared plus 10 squared equals 12 squared. Remember, you have the biggest number as the hypotenuse. 64 plus 100 equals 144. And when you add up, we get 164 equals 144. Okay, but those do not equal. So these three sides does not equal a right triangle. Okay. Now here are a couple practice problems for you to work. I'd like you to get these on your notes, and when we see each other next time, we'll go over them as soon as we see each other. Okay? Good luck.